So I came in with new ideas. And this was an organization that was 25 years and very male-dominated. You had a lot of them walk out of the room when I entered.
How do you lead an organization that's so male-dominated?
How fast you can move with the rest of the people, whether they are catching on as fast as you are. When you're at the top of the mountain, it's different from what you see and what the person below sees. So how to carry them along is one of the biggest issues that you continuously learn. I actually want the competition. I bring the competition. If there's healthy competition, there are some we collaborate. I tend to have one or two ones here who would want to compete. I don't.
You know, you mentioned that you sound like you have the right people, and you know you treat them well, you give them the right rewards. You know what to give at the team level, at the individual level. How do you find the right talent? Because the labor market in Ghana is not so great.
I think it has more to do with me than the people. You know, when people come, they want to see what you do, right? And if they see you going down the ground digging, they will all dig too, right? And I know in my office, they say I have such high standards because I do, by nature. I didn't realize it till I started speaking to others, and I realized that a lot of things that are tolerated in other businesses, I don't do that in my business. And so people know. I don't know. So my staff also know. Because I'm always, and I'm somebody who always surrounds myself with more intelligent people. I do that a lot. I try to find people who know an area and then I delegate to them. I do that a lot. So with that means we're always doing things better than anybody on the market. So for instance, like I say, I've been doing a lot of HR with it. I've done HR with 4 different companies. And all these 4 companies, mind you, they're coming with their own strengths. And they're coming with their own ways of doing things. Which means that we are getting more knowledge. They're transmitting a lot of things to us. So that helps. That helps a lot. So I think for us, our standards are always going higher and higher. Higher and higher. And then maybe because of the people we work with, the suppliers, the franchises, they also have similar high demands. They also do. So sometimes it keeps us on our toes so we don't get complacent. That helps. So those are some of the things that
you've used in finding the right talent.
Because if I am doing it, usually when they come to Sambus, they always say, Sambus, I remember one time one of the guys made a statement that you won't get money from Sambus without doing the work.
In small businesses are known, they are touted to deal with staff, they are touted to have high staff turnovers. Has that been the case with you?
Yes, it's been one of my biggest problems. And it's hard to always have the right plan. I mean, the succession planning is always hard. And I was happy to talk to an HR person yesterday who told me that there's no strategy in this world for retention. There's so many different tactics you can pull, but if somebody wants to go, there's nothing you can do. And I've learned that the hard way, because there are people that we've trained to levels that we're expecting, oh, they would stay, but they will leave. And that's fine. I've come to accept it. And then do the best. Ensure that there are systems and processes in place so that it's easier for somebody to fill in the role when somebody leaves.
Right, so I'm getting from you that you have to accept that there will be high staff turnover, but you need to make sure that you have systems built in place that once the person leaves, you can replace them, you can plug somebody else in.
Might not be 100% the same, but at least they will do a 60%. We should get that.
Is that not too expensive to do?
It is always expensive to do. It's always very expensive.
So those small businesses that don't have money, how would they do that?
I think if you want to do it, you can do it. It's not about money. Once you set up your mind that you want to do something, you can do it.
I know some small businesses that want good people and they wish they could plug in new people to fill in roles, but it's just a wish because the money is not there to back it. One, they don't have the money, and what the best that they can do, they won't find anybody that's competent enough to accept that amount. So I don't know how they can do it.
It's not about the person being competent. It's about the system being good enough so that the person comes in and they learn easier. So it's not necessarily about the person who's coming in. It's about what I have internally.
So it's not a person solution. It's like more of a system
solution. So there's a JD's line there. There's if you're a team leader, for instance, when you want to leave, you give 3 months notice. So in that 3 months, we are finding somebody within that 3 months. You at least have a month with that person. When you leave, you give us at least 3 months that the person can communicate with you. And most of our staff have done that well. Sometimes even for a year, they still communicate if you need something. Of course, you won't get them all the time, but usually when I call them, they pick up if we need something. And then, yeah, trying to get the person up to speed as quick as possible.
How do you deal with family and friends begging you to employ someone based on, familiar?
When I say something, I have to change probably one of the things. Because I remember the first time somebody asked me, hey, do you know that if I employed everybody like this, the office would be filled with people that, like people who don't know anything and they have to be in the office. Maybe I wouldn't have said it that way. But yeah, I now, if you ask me, and I think people know me too. I think, because I remember recently, my uncle, my father's brother, he's older than me there. I was like, oh, I want you to employ someone. He was like, okay, but these people too, I don't know them very well. They might come and embarrass me. For him to say that means he knows where he's coming to. So that was the end of the conversation. I didn't even pick the CV. But if you don't know them, and you can, because I will come and ask you, I will hold you to it. And anybody who knows me knows that. Maybe I'm principled. That's what they say. But they know that. So when somebody is asking me, they know. They know.
Most people, most owner managers, they complain or they brought somebody,
It's
I picked
boundaries.
the person.
It's called boundaries. It's a very simple thing. I have a very good relationship with my mother and my sisters. But anybody who meets us knows they are very strong boundaries. And they know. They know very well. They know their limits.
Well, I don't know whether because of, you being a woman, but there's some male owner managers that are men that are like, oh, you know what, this is my wife's sister that was looking for the job. So when my wife asked me to employ it, I know she meets the standards, and I don't know, it's not perfect, it's not ideal.
I'm not the one who does the employment. I don't employ anybody in
Is it because the social expectation on you is not as much?
Because I'm a woman.
Perhaps.
No, but even with that, I can understand that, especially with family asking for money. I know the social pressure with that is less, because when they started and I didn't encourage it 1, 2, 3, I realized it stopped. But I just also want you to see the other bit, which is, I don't do hires. I don't hire anybody in the office.
But it's your business, that's what they would say.
Yes, but it has to go through processes. We go through 3 processes before it gets to me.
Like you are saying that, but they still are there on you. I think, okay, for me, I probably will bring it down to I'll play the gender card here. Because when I've held this conversation with the men, it's difficult. Like they have the push is more. The push is more, the pressure is more. Sometimes they talk about women facing some challenge that men don't face. I think this is one of the challenges that men face that women don't face.
Could be. I know with the money bit, I have gotten away a bit with it because I'm a woman. So it's a bit, if your older uncles are asking you for money, they're a bit careful about it. So yes, maybe if it was my father or my brother, they would feel more comfortable asking. So yeah, but not with the hiring bit.
Not with the hiring.
That I think I've just been very strong on that. I'll tell you boldly, I'm not part of the hiring process. It's not me who hires.
No, I'm hoping.
So let them apply. They should
let them apply. Let's see how it goes with them.
Yes, I don't hire anybody.
No, it's refreshing to hear such high standards in Ghana, because most of the business I've spoken to.
I think they told their wives that I don't hire. Because for me, I've made it clear to everyone that I don't hire. You have to go through the first 3 stages. And then if you come to me, then I can do something about it. But if you haven't passed those stages, there's nothing I can do about it. There's absolutely nothing.
Life after COVID.
It's tougher. Life after COVID is tougher. But I can understand, because those are repercussions of what happened. COVID happened. People are more careful on spending. Sales is tougher now. People are more human now. So for you to sell, it requires a lot of work, a lot of human work. Because you have to really get the person's heart. before you can sell. Now.
Who would have thought that life during COVID for some businesses would be relatively easier compared to life after? And could you shed a bit more light on it? Because some businesses will be listening and will be like, wait, how is it life was relatively softer during COVID and now, like business-wise, how is that like?
I think for us, we worked even harder during COVID. COVID was the year where we worked the most. Because first of all, we had recruited you to do the structures for us. And then, not just you, we had recruited about two other people to do other things for us. So we really did a lot of brain work during COVID because we were preparing for after COVID.
Right.
So we really prepared so well. So within COVID, because we were working so hard on the brain of the company, we really yielded a lot of results. Because at that time, the COVID impact hadn't hit. Right? So it was easy to milk. Revenues were good during COVID year. Not because we're a tech firm. People associate it with tech because tech was booming. But we are, the geospatial bit is not hardcore IT. IT, yes, we did well on that. But, so I can justify the IT infrastructure bit. That, yes. But the geospatial bit is quite a project-centered sort of business, where people don't even understand half of the things we're telling them when we're talking to them. And we have to show them and all that before they understand. So somehow we did very well in COVID. And I still attribute it to the fact that we did a lot of the brain work for the business.
During that time.
Yeah. Now we are all suffering because, of course, the world is going through a recession. So everybody understands that people are careful with spending and all that. But yeah, there aren't even a lot of investments coming in. So.
And during COVID, you didn't downsize or nothing. You just.
No, nothing happened during COVID.
Interesting.
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Life after COVID. So you've moved from 20 staff to 60 staff, and what do you think you would need as a business to move from 60
here to here?
So 20 to 60, okay, 40 staff increase. So what would you think you need from 60 staff to 100 staff as a business?
Usually when we grow, it's windfalls. And windfalls are directed by me solely.
Please, can you elaborate?
When I say hard, I do the high-end sales. So when I bring in a sale, it grows by 10 staff immediately. Right? So I do the heavy lifting. Right? My staff run the business. So what they generate runs the business. What I generate grows the business.
Interesting.
So that will require me working very hard.
To get to 100 staff, it means you have to do more heavy lifting.
It means I probably have to close 8 businesses in the next coming months. Yes, if I did that, yes.
The succession planning. What are you doing so to make sure that what happened to you does not happen to whoever comes?
I think I mentioned earlier that the structures for me works. They really work because I've been practicing it even with my staff to see how internally. The hardest person the hardest person to fill would be me, of course. But once I can do it with my top management, then I know that it's closer to me. So gradually we're getting there.
Work-life balance. How do you do it? Owner managers don't have any work-life balance. They work around the clock, wake up early, work till late. It affects their love life. It affects their family relationships. It affects their own health. You have
to have a plan. You have to. Because for me, like I said, maybe the business also has a good place that I could, but that's why I said COVID helped so much. Because for my office, I told them Saturday, Sunday, nobody's working in the office. And it worked. Because at some point, we were working on Saturday and Sunday too. And I told them, there was one day I just woke up and I said, nobody should work on Saturday and Sunday. Unless somebody's dying. We are not working on Saturday and Sunday. And so far it's worked. Saturday, Sunday, no emails fly, no nothing. If you get an email, it'll probably be somebody who's delayed in a report. And they have chosen at that moment to send it. But it is not work that they have to do. No. I won't even respond.
No, that means you're a very productive organization then. So you're so productive on the Monday to Friday that you don't need the weekends.
We don't work. If we have to work a weekday, maybe we're working on a project and we need to be there on Saturday, Sunday because it's part of the project scope or something. But we don't work on Saturday, Sunday.
And that's how you like ensure the work-life balance. And is this the same like? Is it for you or you?
Everybody
it
down
runs
to
through?
the down. Nobody works on Saturday, Sunday. The front desk, nobody works on Saturday, Sunday. They won't even send anything on Saturday, Sunday.
Mental health.
Yoga helps. Yoga helps a lot.
If I
with the
don't
mental.
do yoga and I'm an owner manager and I want to
You
take
need to
care of my
exercise.
mental health,
You need to exercise. You can't do it without exercise. You need to not to look good or for anything, but you need it just for mental clarity because it helps. You need to go for a walk. At least if you can't run or you can't gym, you can't do yoga, you need to walk. Because other than that, you'll be mentally clouded and it won't help.
I think I'll just end with these two questions. So like two messages. Policy makers listening to you, people in government that makes regulations that impact small businesses. What's your message to them? And then other owner managers in your position running an organization that's got like a 60 staff. What would be your message to them as well? So these two groups. First for the policy makers and then
Policy will be on finance. They need to make finance accessible, not be based on who you know. Never. It should be accessible. It should be merit.
They would say the small businesses don't meet the requirements. They don't keep records. If they have the records, it's not trustworthy.
I keep records. I do all that. But I can't get any loan from the government.
Why? Is it because you've applied and you don't get it or the interest rate is too much?
You would apply and you won't get it. There are a lot of businesses like me who keep good records, who do the right thing. There are a lot of us. And we don't still get it. We don't. And the banks are not here to give us loans. That's not their job. The banks really don't want to even release the money to us because they are scared they won't be paid. So the banks are not it. So maybe create more angel investors. But we don't have that here. So I don't know. The government has to be the angel investor. It has to handpick and help.
If it will not be abused by certain,
But if you try the person, that's why we try. So for instance, you give a seed capital of say $50,000 to the person who can pay back in 1 year or 2 years, the person you will reward and give more to.
There's a venture capital trust fund in Ghana, but it's so small that it's not even impactful. There's an angel investors network, but they are not, a big.
It'll be good to join this.
Well, I don't know the extent to which they are like effective, but yeah, they are. It's just at the scale. The sources of funding in Ghana is just these financial institutions. There are no alternative source of funding. You can't go to the private market. It's too risky. The angel investment space is not active. The private equity is not active. It's just these headline-making startups that tend to get their attention. But you're like small businesses in business, doing well, have survived for a long period of time. These are not getting the funds. So whatever the policymakers can do to make funds accessible for you is what you would tell them.
Yes.
Okay.
Make funds accessible. Because if I have like regular people calling me and wanting to invest, that means I'm doing something right. So why wouldn't I be able to get that from the government, like or institutions?
Okay. Other small business owners or other individuals running a medium-sized company. What would you say to them? What would you want them to?
Am I in the position to advise them?
Oh yeah, you are in the
when
position.
I'm still learning.
You've earned it. You've paid your dues, so you have to. What would you want to share with them? Those that are in that same position, or those that are close to that?
I think just stay persistent and resilient. Yeah.
Easier said than done.
It's not easy. It's not easy. Every day comes with a different challenge. Just when you think you have, you just have to stay consistent, resilient, and persistent.
Consistent, resilient, and persistent. I think that's that. You've been amazing, MD. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, MD. I appreciate it.